Sup? It's your boy Corey B. So, creativity is chaotic. Yeah. Marinate on that for a second. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Creativity is chaotic. It's a real thing. So, y'all been following your boy for more than a minute, which I sure hope you have. I do. Hope you've been following and paying attention. I've been plugging my man, Carlos Rios. He's got a new podcast, so check it out on Spotify. Soon it'll be offered on all your platforms, but right now, I've been following on Spotify. Anyways, it's Carlos Rios is all ears. He's laying down some great knowledge, for real. It's really great. He just featured me, or had me as a guest. It was really cool. I was super stoked to be a part of it and to be, able to do that and get to rap with my man. It was great. It was really great. So y'all stay tuned and y'all be sure to peep that for sure. But his first episode was really great. This past week was episode 3. So y'all ain't missed much. I ain't got a whole lot to catch up on, but y'all should catch up if you ain't been following it. But his first episode was really great. It was with one of his close homeboys who has been in the film industry as well as a stand-up comedian and different things like that. But it's really cool because they both talked about, because he's in music. He's a composer and he's just an artist on so many levels. Carlos is. Just his newest project is this new podcast. But anyways, he was talking about the concept and idea of how he creates music. And it's super cool. I love the way he laid it down. He was just like, he loves just making music and just putting it all out there. Just like continuing to make music. And he's like, it doesn't care if it's good or bad or whatever. It's just crazy. It's just chaos. Just making music. That's how he composes. And then he picks out what he really loves. And he called it chaos. And I love that he called it chaos because in business, the many people that I've worked with, oh Lord, I've worked with some really chaotic people. I've worked with some chaotic people who just couldn't figure out how to run their business the right way. And sometimes it was through that chaos in which I was inspired, is when I found something, is when something hit me. And I believe with the right mindset, chaos breeds creativity. Truly does. It's through all the muck and the mess. Man, I've been saying muck a lot today. It's through all that you could just really find some gold, some gems, something else that's just different. When you feel like you got to structure everything so perfect. I've talked about this before. I love to write. I've always been a passionate writer. I've been writing since as long as I can remember, since grade school. It's just always been a thing for me. And since when I was in 8th grade, when I saw Basketball Diaries. It's just a movie that just hit me for whatever reason. I loved Basketball Diaries. So if you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. It's dope. Leonardo DiCaprio, a really young Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's a true story. It's dope. It's really, really dope. From what I hear, the book is great too. The book is actually by the same name. But anyways, he was a writer. He liked to write, and he was a really talented writer. But anyways, he always carried this steno pad. He had a notebook folded in his back pocket, and I started doing that. I thought it was cool, and I started carrying this notebook in my back pocket, and I've been doing it friggin' my whole life since then. Off and on, I don't always have it readily but I always have pen, I always have paper. I'm old school. I like paper. Man. I just do. There's something about it. Just feels good. I'll record things on my phone real quick. I'll record little messages when I have these cool ideas. I'm like, I don't want to forget this. I'm driving in the car, so I'll reach over and I can push it without even looking at my phone. I know how to hit record and just catch my voice and things like that. But there's something about that paper. There's a line from an old Eminem song. I want to be the Bruce Lee of loose leaf, and that always just resonated with me. I always like paper. And I like writing on paper, but I always kept that paper with me, and I would write little notes down. And half the time, I would come back to those notes days later, hours later, weeks later. I don't know what in the world I was even talking about. Something just popped in my head, and I had to write it down. So I jotted that little note down, and then later, I don't know what even I was talking about. I can't tell you. But see, I never get rid of it. I just hold on to it. And sometimes I can go back to it weeks later, months later. I've really looked at stuff years later even. I found stuff I wrote back when I was in college 10 years ago. Whew, 10 years ago, good God. But I found stuff I jotted down that was just a little idle thought. It was just like, just this little thing that was just a gem that popped in my head, and I was like, I can't forget that. And I wrote it down, and now I may not know what was going on in my mind then. I may not know, like sometimes I'll read something, it'll take me back to that moment. Sometimes it don't. Sometimes it doesn't trigger anything. Sometimes it triggers a whole new thing. Chaos breeds creativity. And creativity sometimes breeds chaos. So I want to give a shout out to my man Carlos, because sometimes you never know where inspiration is going to hit. My man said that earlier, and it hit me hard. I love that. I'm gonna elaborate on that more later. I'm gonna leave that right now to marinate. Y'all take what y'all will from that, and I'm gonna come back to that, because I'm gonna dig a little deeper. There's something more there. I'm your boy. Y'all be sure to give me some love. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Ding your bell. Get your notifications. Stay tuned. Your boy's coming at you. Later.